Welcome back to FedBiz Exchange, where I teach you how to win. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. Today, I want to talk to you about how to position yourself to win government contracts using my 4-step system. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know about my exciting new GovCon startup program. I'm teaching this program live in 4 sessions starting October 21st. Let me tell you all about it. In this GovCon startup program, I will teach you live how to set up your basic foundation to winning. That's what it's all about, is learning to win. We'll use my 4-step system to get you set up to win over and over and over again. We'll give you the basic foundation no matter what your situation is. If you have little to no government contracting experience, you're having trouble winning, you're having trouble choosing a product or a service, you feel as though you're missing a few steps, you don't know how to set up your capability statement or your bid package, you cannot find the right codes, your SAM is not set up correctly, I will cover all of that in my live GovCon startup program. Click on the link in the comment section to enroll now and get $100 off.
So the 4 steps are, and this is you positioning yourself the right way from the beginning. So the 4 steps are, number 1, federal buyers agency spending habits. You're going to find out so if you have your own industry, and let's take me, because I have an example in here. I like medical clothing because I'm in medical, period. But I like medical clothing. It's an area I've been wanting to expand in. So if I say I like medical clothing, or I'm a medical clothing manufacturer, or I'm a clothing manufacturer, I would like to become a medical clothing manufacturer, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to do step 1, and I'll walk you through step 1, but I'm going to take specific steps to quickly understand what I need to do. Like, what do I need to learn? Well, there are a lot of things you need to learn, but they're all in one space. The government gives you the information. They don't hide anything, quite frankly. They don't. So step 2 is, after I learn how much they're spending, what are they spending it on, the next thing I have to do is my codes, because SAM requires me to have the right codes. Now, I shouldn't say requires, because it doesn't require. But what happens is, it feels weird when you find that you have codes that are not matching to what you want to do. There's so many businesses out there like that, it's ridiculous. So let me tell you what happens when you don't have the right codes. Government can't find you. Contracting officers can't find you because you got all the wrong codes. If you have the right codes, they can find you. And some people think when I say the right codes, and rightfully so, that I mean what NAICS says is the right code. NAICS code, NAICS.com, is an accurate system for codes. But that doesn't mean my contracting officer is using that code. The only codes that are perfect and work are FSCs and PSCs with government. You know why? Because those are owned by the government. But NAICS codes are not owned by the government. NAICS codes are commercial codes. So everybody uses them, and the contracting officers use them wrong all of the time. But they don't use PSC and FSC codes wrong. But you still have to have both. Okay, so step 2 is you finding the right codes. And when I say find the right codes, I mean, what codes are your buyers using? So for me, if I'm talking about codes for clothing, I can't use the codes that I think I should be using. I could use those too, but I got to use the ones that the contracting officers are using, because that's the only way they're going to see me when they're looking for me. That's the only way they're going to find me, is when they have to find me, they're going to find me because I use their codes. That's how that works, okay? Then you have step 3, which is SAM. You can't do business with the government without having an account. All of you guys probably know that. You have to set up in the system, and that ain't easy anymore. It used to be very easy. Now, even I, as experienced as I am, I get stressed every time I have to renew. because they're adding new stuff. And it's because we have a lot of scammy people out there. We have a lot of people doing things they shouldn't be doing. During COVID, it became a mess. And that's when things started changing. They took the accounts away from Dun and Bradstreet. If you notice, we don't need a DUNS number anymore. Most of us have one, but we don't need them. Dun and Bradstreet is irrelevant. They got fired by the government because they weren't protecting the setup. So now we all have to deal with things like you have to get someone's signature to and put it in the system, send them a certified, a notarized document. It didn't used to be that way because people are stealing other people's money. It was just a mess. So what they're trying to do is get the trash out and the serious people get to stay. And how is that? Well, you got to know the rules and you can't be afraid of doing what it takes. Okay. And then lastly, you have to do what I said. Remember, the two main ingredients are right here, number 1, and right here, number 4. Those equal contracts. You have to show up. Remember, number 2 in the two main ingredients is you showing up. You don't show up, you don't win. It's as simple as that. And they're not going to come looking for you. The only time they look for you is when they have to. Do they have to look for you often? Sure, because they have goals to meet. If they need a woman in something, they'll put out a sources sought. I'm seeing so many sources sought because there's so many businesses that don't know they're things that the government needs, and they would rather have small businesses, women owned, veteran owned, minority owned, hub zones. They'd rather have it, but they can't find us because we're not responding. You could be the only one to respond over here because you got your stuff together, but you can't respond if they don't put something out there. That's when they come looking for you. And sometimes they will send you a personal invite. Or sometimes you respond to the sources sought. Maybe it's only 1 or 2 of you out of thousands of people that do what you do. It could be 1 or 2. And you respond and they send you a personal invitation. It happens to me all the time. All the time. They send you a personal invitation. Now, it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to win, but it certainly does tell me they're trying to help me. They want me to know this is out there because maybe they got my capability statement. And I do have a very nice capability statement. I do. I spent a lot of times with my manufacturing, I spent a lot of time thinking about my branding. So you're going to do the same thing. You can change it if you need to, but my colors were I picked my colors, I would say, maybe 2 years before, only because I just really knew this manufacturing thing was what I had to do. Now, we don't feel like that about every single business we do, but for some reason, that one, I already had everything in my mind that I wanted to do. So in my plan, I wrote those things down, and so it made me ready. So when there's an opportunity that maybe I miss, or maybe I find that in my arena, let's say it's for the manufacturing side, which it would be, I respond. Immediately I respond. You know why? Because I want them to see me. That's how they see you. That's what you do with a capability statement. I found them because maybe I was looking from my codes, with my codes. I found this opportunity that I love. I found maybe 3 or 4. They asked me, it's a sources sought. They asked me, not just me, but they're asking us, who can do this? And I say, I can. Well, can you answer these questions and can you send me your capability statement? That's how you get seen. That's what you do with a capability statement. And a sources sought, you still have your branding. You respond in a very professional way. They don't ask you that many questions. And still, most businesses will not do a sources sought because they're not serious. If you really want to build something, you have to, and in the beginning, it can feel painful because you're going to feel like, oh my God, I got to do all of these things. But then you've created something that you can use over and over and over again. Okay. So step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And step 1 and step 4, they're the 2 that win you the contracts. These in the middle, you have to do them. Like your codes are extremely important, but you wouldn't know the right codes if you didn't do step 1. So